most people like abandon like in the first a month or two, I think, but we don't go
Yeah,
there.
yeah. They don't like 3% of the people do 12 podcasts. Is that right? It's
We're
like a
going to do
crazy,
12.
Yeah.
You know what?
crazy.
Even if we do like a 10-15 minute is our first episode, let's get it out, right?
Yeah.
And just keep improving. That's all we can do is keep improving, learn a little bit every time. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll just have fun. We just
Yes.
giggle through it.
So hello everybody. This is our very fast AI breakout. How are you guys today?
Yes.
How are you?
So
Great.
good.
We spent the last 1 hour setting up everything, but we are finally here. We are moving and we are hearing each other, so it's a great start.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I just wanna start with appreciate you guys for spending so much time and energy for this project. We've been planning to do this for the last, I think, nearly 2 months now, and we are doing this very fast episode today. I think this is very
So fun.
special. So I appreciate each one of you. Fazana, Victoria, Debbie, thank you.
We
No,
thank
thank
you.
you to Dow for doing this and for being our tech guy and for being so patient with us because I think you were the only one that was okay and we all had our struggles, but we're getting there. Thank you to
We're
Dow.
getting there. At least people can see our face
Yeah.
and they
But
listen
you
to
always
our
bring us to
voices.
Life Fest. We appreciate that.
Very fast episode. We just want to introduce ourselves a little bit. So we are four life coaches, and actually, AI Breakout. Our AI stands for authentic individuals, and I think it's important to introduce each one of us. And we are four certified life coaches, and I just want to share our background and who we are a little bit today.
Okay. Who goes
Awesome. You want to
first?
start? You're our leader. I think
Should
you
I
should
start?
start today. Yes.
Yeah.
All
Tell
right.
us a little bit about why you got into coaching.
All right. Well, so I'm Tadao. I'm originally from Japan, but I moved to Australia 10 years ago. And 2 years ago, I came to the States. And I was working as a restaurant manager for the last 10 years. So through my work, I met a lot of young people. And I saw so much potential in them. But I think just because our working environment, especially in hospitality, that could be very toxic and we are very underappreciated, it's very difficult for those people to actually realize their potential. And I decided to be a life coach because I really loved creating safe environment for my team members and creating positive understanding environment could unlock their true potential. And for last few years I was just doing it as a restaurant manager and I really didn't think about becoming a life coach. But last year, something was calling and I was feeling that I need to change something and I wanted to bring my management skill to a different level. And that's when I decided to be a life coach. And life coach is about meeting people at where they are and not putting any assumption to it. And I learned a lot last year while studying to be a life coach. We went to the same school and the environment we created together, which was very safe, and you guys are really understanding, and we always appreciate each other, respect each other. In that environment, I could remove my limiting beliefs, and I wanted to expand that safe space to much bigger world. And that's the reason why I originally wanted to start this podcast. But as a life coach, I just want to be other people's safe space, which I didn't have when I was younger. And I know when people feel appreciation and respect, that would make a really huge impact in somebody's life.
I want to ask you to now how I know just from my little bit of travel in different countries, sometimes it's very intimidating. So you came all the way from Japan and landed in Australia, and you could only speak a few words of English. Is that correct? That's my understanding.
Barely tiny little English, yes.
How intimidating was that? Like, were you afraid? Like, finding a job was all that difficult? Getting your visa? Like, you must have gone through a lot to be able to be in the US.
To begin with, I knew I could communicate with people, but I was having a difficult time when I really don't understand other people. That was a struggle.
I'm sure.
And when you're in a different country and when people are talking in a different language, your mind goes to a negative way. Maybe they are talking something bad about me. Maybe they're judging the way I speak. But then I realized most of those conversations was just happening inside of my brain, and people are talking nothing about me.
No,
But like I was having that conversation in me,
right.
so that was a little bit difficult. But I learned how to deal with it,
I
and
tell you what's helped me so much in just in general, like going to the gym and telling my son, I was like, I know everybody in there's like, why is that lady in here? She doesn't know how to use any of the machines. Like, why is she in here? And my son looked at me and he was like, that is so narcissistic for you to think that they think that much of you, that they're talking about you. Like they're worried about their workout, they're worried about their machines and what's going on in their life. He said, Mom, I promise they don't even notice you. And I needed to hear that because I was feeling like self-conscious, like, what if I fall down on the treadmill, or, what if I can't keep up in the class or whatever? And he's like, you're being narcissistic to think that anybody's even noticing you're in the room. And I was like, okay, well, thank you. Like, let me limp back to my little space over here. But I think that we do get in our own head and we do overthink things.
definitely.
Just like this podcast, I think that if we allow ourselves, we could actually talk ourselves out of doing this because it is uncomfortable and it is not, I don't think any of us really thought we would be here together, the four of us doing this, you know, but it's so much fun. And I think there are people out there that need to hear that. I just commend you for your tenacity because I know it's been hard for me being in Guatemala and I don't speak any Spanish, which is my bad because I've been there
Right.
almost a year, but I was studying this stuff for this course. So it's difficult to make those changes.
No, I mean, I'm sort of in awe of you today because of everything that you've done and what you've overcome. And you have to remember this if you ever worry about the language, remember this that you can speak to all of us in English, but if we were to have a conversation with you in Japanese, that's not going to happen.
That's
Maybe
not
that
to
will.
always
You never know.
remember that.
and I've heard that's one of the hardest languages to learn.
I was going to say when you find yourself in a position where you don't have language anymore to connect to someone, like what did you find out about connection itself when there's no language as a possibility? Was there some way that
That's
you
a
were
big
able to
question.
differently connect or express your kindness or your understanding of people when
I'll
language
tell you
wasn't always
for
Actually,
me,
available?
just smiling.
yeah,
But
for
to be honest,
me,
like your facial expression is very important, even though we don't understand each other's language. And no matter what happens, I always try to smile.
yeah.
That helped me a lot. And when you really don't understand other people, other language, or if you live in different countries, so you have a different culture, if you don't understand any of these, don't think too much. Because,
Right.
like when you really don't understand anything, sometimes you feel like you're offended and you try to make the
Yeah.
issue even bigger ones. Maybe
Hmm.
it was a racism, maybe it was a sexism, but like most of the time, it's not that. You're just thinking too much.
Me not being able to speak the language where I live makes me appreciate y'all even more because I can come together with people that are like minded, that are doing the same thing with this coaching program and all that we've learned. But we've also learned how to communicate among the four of us being from different areas and different places. It's just been super special to me because I think all my life I've taken friendships maybe for granted, to a degree, because I just always would put off going to lunch with that friend or put off going to do something with that person. And like now, my best friend that I've had since third grade is suffering from Alzheimer's disease, and she can't pick up the phone and call
Hi.
me. She can't text me. And that has affected me and made me realize just how rich of a group we are together, just how rich, and y'all just feel like a warm quilt to me, just like a warm quilt and a warm fire in the middle of a winter day. And I think that we do take things like that for granted sometimes. I know I did. And so I'm grateful for y'all, and I'm grateful that we have come together and that we're like minded and we're all trying to do the same thing, which is just to reach out and help people slow down a little bit and enjoy life a little bit more and take off some of the stress and worry that really is in our head. That we really do just think about things to worry about, which is crazy, but that's just what human nature has done to us, I think.
You're going to make me cry, Victoria. Don't make me cry.
Are you crying on our very first episode?
I
That's
mean,
it.
y'all, but it's just
Perhaps,
so
who knows?
true. Like, y'all are my people. Y'all are my group. Y'all are my faves. And I've, I've never had a problem having friends, and I've always been there to listen to them, but I've never had that connection that I have with y'all. And that's saying something at my age that we won't disclose at this point. But you know what I mean? Like, it's really, when you look back over the years of the different friends that you've had in the different relationships, just to know that I can call any of y'all at any time of the day or night and say, I need you. I really need to talk to you. And you'll listen and you'll be there. It is like that warm quilt. It is like that fire. And you can almost hear the crackling on this podcast if you listen very well. The fire crackling in the background.
And I think also, Victoria, I'm also getting at that stage and that age where, as you get older, you're very discerning about the people that you hang around with. Time is
Absolutely.
really precious,
Mhm.
and you want to make the most of that time, and you want to stay with people that uplift you, that make you laugh. I think it's so important. Laughter is so key, and people that are kind, and compassionate. I've been sort of, I hate to say this, but I've been weeding out certain people that drain me, that seem to just take my energy. And there is a time when you just have to cut out the things that are, you feel are like toxic in your life. And I'm sure that's a whole other podcast. But I totally understand what you're saying. Every time we connect, we have a good giggle. We laugh. It's fun, you know.
We
You're all
do.
so patient today. You are the most patient. You're like a little, you're a saint, right? Because we have our struggles with the technology and we're learning, we're going to get better, I'm sure. But there's just so much kindness. And I think we've said this before, and I'm going to say it again today. You are so kind. And to me, that is like one of the most important. I value people that are kind, because it's so easy to go the other way. It's so easy to throw out, horrible remarks, and take advantage of situations and be cruel. There are a lot of people who take so much joy out of being cruel, but you are so kind, and
I
this group
appreciate
is so
that.
compassionate. So I think we've been very, very blessed to find each other.
Absolutely. 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 Debbie, you're our lady of wisdom. We want to hear from you.
Oh, I do. I just love what you've all said, and in reflecting on just the different chapters of life, like I'm always in awe of how life brings in the people that we need for that time, and it's not that we move. We don't even necessarily have to, like, say, drop friends or family members that we might be close to at a time. It's that sometimes we just gravitate to others because of life circumstances, and then because we're at that place, like we all moved through a certain program and a time in our life where we were expanding as life coaches, and so then naturally we found each other in that mix, and that we get to just keep expanding on that relationship and our connection with each other. It's so beautiful, and it just enhances the life I already had with all of the friendships and family and experiences that I already had. And now I get to have all of this special time with you. And that just, it always, like, I love that flow of life. And I just have to remain open, because I can get really set in my ways, or set with my certain friends, or the people that I want to spend time with that may or may not be available. I've learned to just kind of adapt and let a little bit more of life flow. And then I end up in all these beautiful places when I do that. And that's what I see with you, Tadao, is just your openness, leaving your home country and setting out on a journey that you're still on. Just letting what needs to flow in come. And I was wondering, Tadao, if any part of that journey influences your coaching, or has any part in your coaching where you are curious about other people's journeys, and their cultural experiences, coming in or out of different countries, or trying to do what you did, which is to start a life somewhere completely abroad and different.
Absolutely, because what I thought really normal back in Japan, it could be something extraordinary in other country, and it's same for other people. Like if they come from overseas and starting their new life, it's not an easy journey. They need a lot of adjustment, and they need to see the world with totally different perspective. So I think it affected how I coach people as well. It made me, like when you experience something and if you get hurt, that's gonna be your wisdom. So like I understand people's pain more deeply because of the experience I had. So this journey definitely affected me more to
What's
be compassionate.
what's beautiful is you've turned your pain into purpose.
Right.
You're using your pain for purpose, and I think that's a beautiful thing, to go through things that are painful, or go through wounds that we can turn into wisdom or whatever, and still give to others, and still
Yeah.
pour out for others, and still, be that endless fountain, you know, to feed others and to water others. And we're just planting seeds, right? Always, our whole lives, we're
Yeah.
planting seeds, and someone comes along behind us and waters the seed, and then someone comes along and weeds around the seed so that it can grow, which I think is such a beautiful, like, Debbie, like you're talking about, just the flow of life. And I think some people are put in our lives for a season, some for a reason, and some forever. And
Right.
it's just a beautiful thing that we all have and that we can share with the world. Our different experiences and different things that we've gone through.
I just really didn't want to repeat the same pain I had.
Right.
Yeah.
I
But what
wish that I had known that at your age, not to repeat the same pain. I wish I could rewind, not fast forward, but I think that I always thought it was me. It was something wrong with me. So maybe it would be different with this person, or this could be fixed with that, or whatever. And now I know, especially from going through this course, that I'm not broken. I'm complete. And I think I just would love for everybody to know that they're not broken, that they're really not. You know, so many people are, well, everybody nowadays is, oh, I'm broken, or I'm shattered, or I'm this, or I'm that. And we're really all complete. We have everything we need to make a situation work or not. It's just how we view it and our limited
Right.
beliefs. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And I'll be honest, until I heard Jay Shady say it the first time, I was like, oh, I'm broken. And I just want to help people not be broken or whatever. And none of us are broken. So that's pretty cool that we learned that through it.
And also, I think we all have to remember that we all would not be in this place if we hadn't had all the experiences. So every experience that we have gone through
Mhm.
has
Mhm.
brought us to this place.
That's
So I
right.
never believed it until a little while ago that everything happens for a reason. You don't
Mm.
always understand it, but things that happened to me when I was 18 and 21 and things like that, I never understood at the time why that happened. And oh my God, now I look back and I totally understand the
Mhm.
reason I had to go through that. And if that's if anyone hears anything, is that sit in whatever you go through. Don't
Yes.
gloss over it. If you
Yes.
have to feel the pain, but
Yes.
sit through your emotions,
Mhm.
experience them, because they will teach you something. And I think a lot of us were, I know I was definitely just wanting to get it over and done with, just wanting to put it past me. And I think that's the reason why sometimes we repeat our mistakes, because
Mhm.
we haven't learned the lesson from them and we haven't had the experience that we need from them. So I just have to say that, Debbie, listening to you, you always, and that's why I love you so much as well. I love all of you, and I'm going to say that for a very long time. Debbie, you always come with love. When you speak about something, you always come from a place of love. And
Mhm.
that's just wonderful for me to hear. Because, sometimes I will say things like that person's toxic, but you always give me a different perspective, and I love you for that. And
Yes.
I just wanted to say to Dow, um, coming from your your culture, what is the thing that you can say? Because sometimes we can have negative. We look at our culture. Mine was very restrictive. I had a very strict upbringing. What is the one thing that you can say was the strength from coming from your family, your background? What is it that you think was the one strength that you brought with you?
From Japan,
Yeah.
I think, my mother was always saying that I shouldn't treat others the way you don't want to be treated. That's my motto of my life.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's a Japanese culture, but my mother taught me that way.
Mhm.
And I always knew it's important to be kind,
Right.
even though people don't treat me that way. I don't want to split hate. I always treat people with a respect. I always want to treat people with appreciation. So what I learned from my mother is something I could use anywhere.
Mhm.
And that was a big lesson I learned. And I just want to say, I felt that I was not home when I lived in Japan. So when I found a place to be, I felt like I found a home. So it was not all really difficult situation for me. I still love Japan, but because I moved to Australia and now I moved to the States, I learned a lot and I experienced a lot of pain, but I also gained a lot. And all the wisdom I learned from this experience in the last 10 years, that's why I'm here today. And I think I became more authentic because I had the experience. And now I want to spread what I learned with the world to help others. So now I'm in my serving season, I think. I just want to serve others. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And that's what you're doing here as well, because somebody will hear your story and they will resonate with that, and it will be their story as well, in a slightly different way. So you are reaching out to people here, and then no doubt when you coach it out, I know
Hopefully.
you're going to be wonderful.
Yeah, you'll be great. You'll be great.
But enough of me. Who want to go next?
I
I
think this
think that
whole episode is that's it, right? I think we
that
focused on Chanel. That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but it seems to have unfolded that way, which was good because it just kind of is like a feature of.
Yeah.
Right. Because like when I started talking by myself, I'm like, what I'm talking about? But like when you guys started ask the question, everything like it went more naturally. So that's how I should carry all the time.
I wonder if it's like a life hack or like just like a piece of wisdom that we're actually experiencing and I'm catching. I think we keep catching that when we stand up on a soapbox and think we have to proclaim something, or at least maybe this is just me talking, guys, right? But it feels like it feels less authentic because I feel like I go up into my head because I know I'm supposed to
That's
deliver
right.
something and I'm expecting that to be delivered in a certain way for some result, and it's like, it messes with my authenticity and natural reaction and conversation. So really, like, this is key. I feel like that conversation and curiosity about one another just kind of levels the playing field of life, like everything's a ladder and everybody's higher than us or lower than us. We have this like comparison thing we do all the time. And so that pressure of now I'm speaking and I'm supposed to be this something bigger and better than I feel that I am. And but this idea when someone just asks me a question or is just curious about me, I feel like I'm talking then to a friend and answering their question. So I think it
That's
does. I
right.
feel like maybe the format we've stumbled upon is everything.
I've never been one to follow all the rules. I kind of scoot along the edge of the road sometimes or get in the dotted line. And to me, like, if I'm told I have to present something in such a way, it does get in my head and I can't perform to my fullest potential. But just sitting here talking to y'all as friends, I can say so much more and that I would never say if it was on a script. If it was like, okay,
Right.
well, I'm Victoria and I'm here because yada, 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 I'm going to bore y'all to death. But I think just bouncing back and forth with conversation, first of all, we pour out more because there is nothing expected. And so that, no expectations, no disappointments kind of thing. So yeah, I think that we have stumbled across something extremely beautiful because it is storytelling and it is curiosity and it's all of the things that brought us to this place that we sought knowledge. How can we help others to do that? And I had a long conversation with someone today, and basically what it came down to was you can't perform for people. You have to be authentic and set boundaries, because people will push you as far as you let them.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right.
Especially if it's a controlling individual or whatever, they'll just push you and push you and push you until you feel like you're going to snap, and eventually you will. We're not made to do that. We're not made to be robots or whatever. So I do think that it's such a beautiful experience that we all have and that we can share, and that it is both productive and fulfilling.
Right.
It's very fulfilling to me, our conversations.
All right, so it was our very first episode for AI Breakout. We try to be authentic, so we show you guys everything. Thank you for watching today. Have a great day.
I don't think they can hear me.
Oh,
Can you
she's
hear
gone.
me?
Oh, we lost it.
Oh man.
That was perfect timing.
internet
That was perfect timing.
If
You can hear me?
there's a
You can see
God,
me?
please shake Debbie online.
Oh no, can you guys hear me?
Fine.
I'm here. Nobody can hear me.
So just in case she's not back, we lost our beloved Debbie in an internet accident. She's not with us tonight.